Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise in objection to the amendment. Let me say to you that we have been working since February to get a budget out. It's the responsibility of the Appropriation Committee to get a budget out. It's not the responsibility that we give it back to the Commissioner of Administration. I don't understand why you're willing to do that today when all I've heard is independence in this body. Now, let me just tell you how it works. I have a book right here. If this amendment passes and we go into the committee as a whole, your staff and my staff that we paid a lot of dollars to since February, I have a schedule. We'll go through this budget schedule by schedule. And I have the numbers reconciled, balanced according to the budget that we passed out of committee. If this amendment gets on, I can't come here in committee as a whole and explain House Bill 1 to you because we're taking out $267 million. Well, no, I'm not sure of that. We're directing them to take out whatever they want to take out as long as it's that much. We're not telling them where to take it out. I can't explain to you when you get into Schedule 9 anymore what the budget does for you. If you want to add amendments, I don't object, but what am I objecting on? I don't know what it does to the budget. But yet, I can't let staff, I've just visited with them, and I said, if we recess, can we reconcile this budget so I can come back and be able to tell you what it does for you? Now, I want to ask you, did your people send you down here to not do a budget when you've been down here 3 months, members? I don't think they did, because the people that came before us never was willing to give that responsibility after they left here sometime this year for the commissioner to take out $269 million. Think about what you're doing, members. I know it's an R, and I know that I just heard it said that we had 52% growth in the budget. Look at your numbers, members. We're talking about state general fund. All those people are sending you those texts that's working in Washington that ought to be up there working every day instead of sending them to you. That's federal dollars, folks. Look at it. Since 2004, look what your budget was in state general fund dollars in 2004. It ain't much more than it is today. The growth, that 52% growth is in federal dollars, and so a lot of it's for Representative Sean Bond that's been fighting for in her district to get homes raised. It passes through the state to do it. Now, if I'm a financial officer of a corporation, members, some of you may be, I don't know, but if I was one and my board was meeting and I brought this to balance a budget and I gave it to them, if I'm on that board, I'm going to fire them before they walk out that door. That's exactly what the folks back home ought to do to you if you're willing to pass this today, where I can't explain the budget and you're giving your authority away. Now, you can vote on it. I'm going to ask for a record vote. I'm going to ask him right now to make sure it's a record vote so you folks back home will know how you voted, so they can at least visit with you about it. So you decide. I know you've done made up your mind. I'm probably not going to change it. You think it is. But I can tell you my experience in politics in 40 years, this vote right here will keep some of you from being back in this body 4 years from now. I've been around it a long time. You can make that vote today on this amendment if you want to. But I can tell you, when you get into a committee as a whole, if this passes, don't expect me to answer a question up here from you, because I can't answer it correctly. And I won't answer it at all if I can't answer it correctly. That's not what the Chair of Appropriation is supposed to do when House Bill 1 is in the committee as a whole. You're supposed to be able to amend it. I'm supposed to be able to determine whether it's something that I would allow or not allow, and this body's in the process to determine whether they want it or not. I know you got quiet. You ought to. You ought to be thinking about what you're doing. Yeah, it's fun to play games. I don't think you folks sent you down here to play games, members. I really don't. And I understand some of your district don't need one thing from this state. I told you yesterday, the reason I'm willing to spend the one-time money is because the last 3 years, my driver's license office had 3 employees. It's got 1 now. It's got a line at the door. And my Ford dealership takes 2 weeks to get title and license back from it. We can live with that. But I can't take another cut because we won't have anybody there. My health unit had 3 nurses. It's got 1. Got 1 now. No, in your area, Mr. Brown, Wynn Parish and Grant Parish swap, some of them have them 3 days a week, and some of them have the other 2 days a week. They don't have them there all the time. But in Jackson Parish, I have a nurse, and the lines can be 3 to 4 hours to get to see to that nurse. But if you cut them again and you leave it to discretion, I may not have a nurse. My highway department, I called them. And I said, how many employees you have? I never call them. I'll let somebody else do that. They said, we're supposed to have 9, but we don't have 9 since the governor's been hiring freeze. We're 4 short. Now, you can't get trees out of the road and all of that stuff. I don't know how it's affecting your district. I'm just giving you a few examples of how it's affected mine and why I'm here saying that I can support the money in it. But simply because we've done cut to the point in my district is to the bone. Now, if you got plenty of excess in your district, bring the cuts up here and put your name on them, and I won't object. And if it totals that $267 million, we got it solved, folks. Just bring them from your district. I can't bring them from mine. Don't be scared of it. Walk up to this mic. That's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. Bring them on. Put your name on them. Let your folks back home know what you stand for. Don't be ashamed of it. Why you want to be ashamed? Stand proud if you for it. Now, I'm glad it's got quiet where you can think about what you're doing. This is a serious vote, maybe the most serious vote you'll take in your 4 years, if you're new here. If you're not, maybe the most serious vote you'll take in this election cycle. Because I can tell you, when we give this authority away, they're going to want it. But they're not going to just want it this year. They're going to want it next year and the next. And you're going to want it back. Oh, no. You started giving it to them. They're going to expect it. Members, do you want House Bill 1 explained to you today? Do you want to go home? I can't explain it if this amendment gets on. Don't do what those folks would do in the corporate board. They'd fire you. Be responsible. Step up today. I'm asking you not to vote for this amendment, and let folks know back home how you really stand. But I still will not object to any amendment that takes the money out of your district. If you want to come down here and do it, I want that publicly known for each member today. I will not object if you take that money out of your district. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Fannin, we have a couple of questions. Will you take questions? He waves.